Virgos, welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot, and welcome to the week of January 12th through the 16th. So this week is a week where your inner voice sharpens, and it sharpens into a blade of alchemy, desire, and courage, and your soul clears its throat and fills the air with your aurora, where buried truths knock on the door, ready to voice their presence, and where your heart asks to be felt, not hidden, not protected, not managed. Before we get started though, I just want to say thank you guys truly so much to each and every one of you for all your love and support. Each and every one of you, seriously, all your views, your likes, your shares, subscribes, your hypes, your comments, oh my goodness, your comments, your donations, your Honey Sea Star purchases, each and every one of it makes a difference. Each and every part of it, each and every one of you make a difference, and I love you back. So, from January 12th to January 16th, the cosmos this week are staging a very intentional confrontation between your creative desire and your emotional vulnerability, between what you want to express and what you've been protecting yourself from feeling. The moon in Scorpio is dragging its lantern light through your third house of communication, sextiling and trining planets that want you to say the thing. You know, that thing that you've been avoiding, the thing that you haven't felt comfortable or confident enough to voice until this week. It's that thing that they want you to say. And as we end this week with the moon entering Capricorn, joining the Capricorn stellium in our fifth house, joy, love, expression, before we have the new moon in Capricorn come into alignment on the 18th. Stay tuned because I'm going to do a meditation video for that one as well as a reading. The moon joining the stellium of love and joy is where your self-expression becomes truly unavoidable. But threading through all of this week, if you haven't seen the monthly reading, this is that week. Chiron, our wounded healer, is uncovering the wound that says, if I reveal myself, I might lose something. And this week asks you one central question. What if your voice is not the risk, but instead your voice is the medicine? This is a week of profound emotional literacy. It's profound creative courage, and it's soul level calibration, recalibration for your heart. Right away with the Cosmo oracles as well, this is where Spirit is saying if something has been weighing you down, especially what's been hidden, where the heart's been asking you to feel it, right? Where your voice wants that presence. This is the time, this is the week to find ways to lighten up, not take everything so seriously. Because when you find something that excites you, it's time to go all in. Our fifth house is on the table this week in a very big way, all the way up through that new moon energy. And if you're like me and you're feeling it already, let me know in the comments below, because this new moon, all about new beginnings, focused on your fifth house of joy, love, creativity, expression. It's telling you to go all in and enjoy the ride. So starting right away this week on the 12th, as we walk into a happy Monday, this week opens with the moon being in Scorpio in our third house of communication. This is where Scorpio energy, she's got stilettos on in your house of communication, how you express yourself, your brand, how you market, how you show up and show out in the world. She has got thigh-high boots on when she's in Scorpio, and that's all about your emotions being in Scorpio in your third house, mind you. You're going to feel this energy. This placement is not one that does surface level conversations. The moon in Scorpio in your third house is where words become spells. This is language that excavates, thoughts that dig deep, memories that rise like silt in water when something long settled is disturbed. And while the moon is swimming through the depths of your soul's emotions, freeing itself from the mud that has been settling around it, where the heart truly wants to feel, not be protected, not be managed, not be hidden, the moon will be sextile with Mercury, not only our ruling planet, but this is the planet of the mind. Messages happens to be in Capricorn as well. So your mind and your mouth on Monday are going to be fully collaborating, to free your creative heart on Monday. You're able to articulate deep feelings that you usually keep very private, keep to yourself. But you're able to do so with voicing that creative heart clearly without adding any extra drama to the truth. This is the day where writing becomes cathartic, conversations feel faded, creative ideas arrive with emotional weight. You may have an important conversation with a sibling, a close friend, a romantic interest that feels constructive rather than heavy. And it's going to be it's going to lift a weight that you've been carrying, and it's going to carry it off of your shoulders and off of your heart. This is healing energy, right? It's uncovering all the shadows, particularly when it comes to your dreams, what you hold most cherished. And it's offering a point of recovery, a point of healing, recuperation, and a point of balance. Particularly, it's blessing you. It's blessing your heart in a very big way that really is attached and is associated with your foundations, your stability, your achievements, your self-containment of your emotions as well. So it's really leveraging that emotional intelligence. Mercury in Capricorn is saying, say it with intention. That thing, you know that thing. Well, the Scorpio Moon is replying to that same energy and saying, say it with truth. We got you. And together they're crafting an outlet with everything that's coming to the surface, that's leading to new beginnings, that has a lot to do with your abundance, and that also leads to beginnings that are also completions of karmic lessons, right? This is a purification of consciousness that leads you to truly trust and follow your intuition. Together, these two are saying they're crafting an outlet, really, as an avenue of linguistic language. They're saying, say it with intention, say it with truth, build something truly real for your inner light to shine for others to hear. This is voluntary change. This is shining in your spirituality. This is embracing your inner shadows, right? Embracing the unforeseen and illuminating what's been the hidden enemy. Say it with intention. Say it with truth. They've got you. And at the same time, the moon is also going to be trine on Monday with Jupiter retrograde. Remember, Jupiter retrograde is in Cancer. Jupiter happens to be exalted in Cancer, and Jupiter retrograde happens to be in your 11th house. Hopes, wishes, dreams, long-term aspirations, and community all tied together. This trine with the moon in Scorpio is pushing your emotional generosity outward, but first it's asking you to turn inward and look back. So with Jupiter being in retrograde in Cancer, which I will also say, Cancer is one of our most emotionally expressive signs of the zodiac. He's asking you to re-examine old friendships, emotional communities, and support systems, and the dreams that you once shared with others. To remember what once made you feel safe, what once made you feel inspired, hopeful, and then once you acknowledge, re-examine all of it, remember that feeling. Reclaim that feeling of security in your here and now, in your current reality, in your present. And as you reclaim the feeling of inspired safety, that lets your heart sing, right? To root that feeling, that security into your present. So you may feel a sudden desire to either reconnect, also to whatever is coming in with that. It may also urge you or give you a desire to release. We'll get into it because Chiron's playing a role here too. So either way, this trine is healing something from the past that you thought was lost. And it's recovering it, it's healing it through a shared memory, through a shared hopes, or even a shared vision, a shared dream that you once held for the future that still holds meaning in your heart. Whatever you reclaim, just anticipate that it's going to trigger why it was lost and what needs to be healed to free it and replenish it once again. And like I was saying, we've got Chiron in the mix here as well. Particularly this week, he's busy. Let me just tell you right off the bat. That is our wounded healer. This is a healing week. So right away with this energy on Monday, the sun is going to be squaring Chiron to help reveal what healing is needed for what gets uncovered. With the sun in your 5th house of joy, romance, creativity, pleasure, vitality, right? Vitality in what you love. And Chiron stationing in Aries, action and initiation in your 8th house of transformation. This has to do a lot with an old wound that could revolve around a fear of emotional exposure, a fear of rejection, not feeling worthy of pleasure or attention, or even a fear of emotional or financial dependency, or trusting others with your deeper emotional needs. This square, I will say, is uncomfortable, but it's also sacred. And as it triggers a vulnerability to ask, but what if wanting hurts? It reveals where you've been editing your happiness in order to stay safe. It opens an opportunity to learn that your creative expression becomes the medicine if you let it remind you just how beautiful you are when you allow yourself to reach and to shine. This is where it's uncovering with the Ace of Swords, which kind of came out 50-50, but we'll talk about the downswing first. It's uncovering what's been causing that fear of failure, what's been causing conflict, more importantly, what's been causing stagnation in the mind, causing head fog, causing stagnation in your imagination, causing difficulty with your focus, or feeling like you've got a lack of ideas when it comes to your creativity. It's that fear of, if I reach for more, where am I dimming my light? What if it hurts if I reach more? Fear of rejection, like I'm saying, fear of exposure, fear of not feeling worthy. This is where your creative expression is looking at all of this, and it's looking at how to recover it with that Jupiter retrograde trine with the moon. This is new beginnings, where we've got mental clarity, where we're able to focus on our vision, focus on our truth, our heart's truth and what we want. Focus on how we get there with making good, solid choices, decisions each and every step of the way. This is like not stumbling your way through. This is like mindful walking with each and every step with purpose towards your success. So it's looking at a way to change around where you've been struggling to achieve your goals, where you've been feeling overwhelmed, where you've been giving up or feeling like you're just completely overburdened and exhausted, right? This is where it's helping you with listening to your conscious, confessing what needs to be confessed. Whatever's been throwing rocks and hiding hands, it's being done in the daylight and this is like holding that accountable, standing in truth and honesty, catching it in the act so that you can truly reach and shine and enjoy, and every step of the way, the time of celebrations and joy with the sun in your 5th house, with this Capricorn stellium tying into the new beginnings of the new moon. This is time to really look at where those reunions, where those support systems can come together to not only create win-win solutions, but achieve and celebrate each and every step along the way, all those successes, all those rewards along the way, and truly know that the people that stand the test of time, that really have seen you when you're still at your darkest, and celebrate you when you're at your lightest, right? And reclaim that feeling of security and bring it into your present. Heal those wounds and don't be afraid to be seen. Don't be afraid to want. Don't be afraid to reach, and don't be afraid to shine. And if that resonates, by all means, please let me know, because on the 13th, this week is this week, let me tell you. So the 13th is by far the most astrologically dense day of the week. And it's also emotionally the most revealing day of the week. I'm just going to say it now, and I'm kind of giggling because get ready. I just hold on to your hats. So on Tuesday, on the 13th, this is a day where everything wants to be said. The moon, just check this out. So the moon will be sextile with Mars, Venus, and the sun. The moon's in Scorpio, going into the deeps. She's wearing her thigh-high stiletto boots. Mars, Venus, and the sun are all in our 5th house of joy, all in Capricorn, really looking at structure, security, right? Putting the work in, that slow growth leads to success, successional planning, building something that lasts. At the same time that the moon is sextile with Mars, Venus, and the sun, it will also trine Saturn and Neptune at the same time as well. The moon will also be opposite with Uranus. And And Mars happens to also be square with Chiron at the same time. And then later in the day on Tuesday, when the moon moves into Sagittarius and into our 4th house of home and family, our roots, our culture, our cultural ties, ancestral ties later in the evening. The Sagittarius moon will also be sextile with Pluto. And remember, Pluto is in Aquarius in our 6th house. So together, this is a day where your emotions are flirting with your creative instincts. It's a day where your interactions are under a soft spotlight of emotional intelligence. It's a day that holds a few unexpected shocks as well, that awaken your curiosity. And through all of it, there's a profound healing that's happening through action, especially with Mars being square with Chiron. And it's allowing you to transform pain into productivity, turn vulnerability into strength. So let's break down each and every piece of this, because it's a lot. Tuesday, just know this is where you're going to be ending up. Taking the fool's journey with your heart being healed and light as a feather. So starting out with the moon being sextile with Mars, this is that. So you may feel motivated, is all I can say. So your planet of passion tied with your emotions. The two key things that are required for manifestation, right? You got to feel it real, and then you got to take action on it. So you may feel motivated to take bold steps in hobbies, romance, or even creative projects that voice your inner artist through action. Your words have a backbone with this cooperative energy, let me tell you, and so does your strategic self-expression. Mars is ramping you up. It's like you got a cheerleader, like revving you up behind the scenes, ramping you up with courage. And the moon Scorpio energy is making sure that your courage stays honest, stays true to you and what you love. This is a day to initiate conversations, defend your creative vision, voice the desires that you feel have been minimized due to other obligations, that are demanding your energy. This is where you may feel like wherever you felt like you're juggling, needing to multitask, this sextile is bringing that into balance, and it's making sure that every ball that is up in the air lands solid in your hand and keeps the rhythm going. This is that kind of day. And with the moon sextile with the sun at the same time, you're going to feel like you're being able to communicate your feelings and your ideas in a way that feels authentic as well as impactful. Has a lot to do with your structure with that Capricorn energy, and this is truly a blessing with Jupiter here. You're going to feel like Jupiter is almost in Capricorn with this energy, and with it all tying into the Capricorn stellium. It's also a time when your intuition is going to be tied directly to your reality, grounding your possibilities, balancing your steps, grounding your unlimited potential into what you create. And with the moon also sextile with Venus, this is what truly softens the edge. So your voice carries warmth with this energy. This is where with the King of Wands, as you can see, he's sitting sturdy and solid, but he's also sitting sturdy and solid in his truth, right? Utilizing those shadows, which you perceive as weaknesses or wounds, and truly utilizing them for the actions that drive him forward. This is utilizing that throat chakra. So with Venus sextile the moon as well, your voice carries that warmth with this energy, and it helps you articulate your affection in a way that's grounded, that's magnetic, and that's with heartfelt romantic clarity. So together, these three sextiles are all about giving you the charisma, allowing you to stand in a place of leadership and let joy, love, compassion, expression lead the way, and also wisdom, and be able to share it, inspire others with it, inspire others with your passion and creativity, but communicate it in a very magnetic, in a warm way. So you may have, especially with this magnetic drive to express yourself, you may be finding an avenue that's through a bold idea, a piece of writing, a playful project, or even a subtle romance where you've been feeling shy to open up. These three sextiles are allowing you to wear that heart on your sleeve. And between your natural precision, Scorpio's depth, and Capricorn's ambition, it's kind of like a pen that's being dipped in fire and then dipped in ice at the same time. Your heart is belting it out on stage, just like the Fool is like exalted. He's got his chest all puffy here, right? He's balancing on one foot while he's got a dog, like he's got a sous chef, right? As I like to say, he's got his trusty companion and support by his side, cheering him on. He's also got fertility in his hand. He's got the vitality and his back, right? And he's exalted looking up at the future and everything that it holds. Your heart is doing the same thing. Your heart is belting it out on stage, and it's like your heart is singing while there's glitter and confetti that is showering down on you from the rafters. And it's kind of like you're going to feel like you're in this like romantic snow globe, like maybe like a Hallmark holiday movie, but in a good way, not in a cliche way. And I will also say this is a new start when it comes to really tapping into your unlimited potential, into your idealism, embracing that spirit of adventure, especially when you look forward to the moon moving into Sagittarius energy. That is truth, that is expansion, that is adventure. You're going on a journey, and it's a fresh start that holds significance of infinite potential and your divine humanity. Now, between the trines that the moon has with Saturn and Neptune, and remember both of these guys, Saturn and Neptune, are in your 7th house in Pisces. Your 7th house is your house of partnerships. Conversations with a partner, a close friend, or a neighbor are going to be flowing intuitively, very smoothly. This is like emotional maturity meeting spiritual compassion, and it's empathy in action that feels both natural and empowering. Saturn grounds your relationships into reality, right? Really strengthen those bonds that stand the test of time. Lets you know where your support system is, who's for you, who's not, who's got your back. Neptune on the other side of this at the same time dissolves old illusions, right? So it unveils those hidden enemies, really discloses to you who's for you, who's not. And together they are asking you, are you ready to commit? Are you ready to love? Are you ready to trust without feeling like you're losing yourself? It's sacred partnership energy, and it's creating a special moment of connection for you. And of course, I will also say, Uranus is here to tell you that this day would not be any fun without a few surprises along the way as well. So with everything going on, the moon's opposition with Uranus, which remember, Uranus is in retrograde. Uranus is in Taurus, in our 9th house of expansion and higher self-wisdom. This opposition is here to awaken your curiosity and challenge your spontaneity. So it's all about releasing control, right? It's about releasing your grasp and truly letting things flow. Looking at what you're holding on to, especially things that you think you've got planned out. This is basically like if you've got a checklist and you're crossing the T's, you're dotting all the I's. This is where Spirit is saying, Uranus is saying, this opposition is saying, that checklist is great. What do you do? Here's a few extra pieces here. Let's problem solve this. What do you do when this throws into it, right? So there may be a conversation or unexpected news that pops up that reveals an emotional trigger or a sudden realization, particularly could have to do about a trip, something you're learning, or a project alteration or change that needs to be addressed, needs to be problem solved, worked through. Could have to do with financial success, right? How you get there, or two, seeing a flaw in the plan, seeing an opportunity that comes up that allows you to truly drive forward to that, right? How you utilize the resources, especially when this opposition is truly bringing in a universal balance that rewards you for karmic deeds that you've performed in the past. Remember, Uranus is retrograde. So this is a financial opportunity that comes in. It's a gift, truly, but it's where things are balancing in your favor, and it's about truly being able to receive, being flexible to receive, being open to receive. Because remember, on Monday, it's all about, but what if wanting hurts? Once you heal through that, once you open enough to receive, this is where that opposition is able to come in and truly reward you. So, and fun fact too, horse chestnuts on my old property, I used to have this beautiful horse chestnut tree. Don't eat them, by the way. But one of my favorite things about a horse chestnut tree is not only are the nuts absolutely beautiful, don't eat them, like I say, but once the tree starts flowering, oh, it was just beautiful. Like all the bumblebees, all the honeybees, even the wasps, whatever, but all of the bugs, all the bees come in and they love that pollen. They are so attracted to it. So like I would go underneath the tree, which was by my shed, and the whole tree sounded like it was humming. And remember, the bee is all about being fertility, harvesting your fruits based on community support. This is that energy. So this is where, with this unexpected opportunity that leads to financial success, that has to do with a karmic reward for something that you've done in the past, there's something here where it could even be something that sheds light on a belief or assumption that you've had, and you're now starting to realize that you've outgrown that, and suddenly that old belief, that old assumption about how things were supposed to go, particularly on that checklist, suddenly snaps like an old rope. Whatever it is, I will forewarn you, it's going to feel like it's destabilizing you as it tests your flexibility and your courage, but it's meant to free you. And it's going to ask you how you transmute the challenge instead of shrink away from it. Now, when the moon shifts into Sagittarius in your 4th house of home and family in the evening, the night becomes your secret laboratory with everything that goes on, with everything that's uncovered. So you've got this time of reflection in a lot of ways. Your emotional lens gets a chance to widen, and everything that illuminated during the day, feelings become insights. Tension becomes clarity. Action becomes deliberate, grounded change. So this is the time where, as I like to say, it's like when you're faced with a problem, get movement into the body. Let your subconscious process it faster than your consciousness, because this is when light bulbs happen. And so as I always like to put, because I used to be in an analytical role, my favorite thing to come into a conference meeting of like, okay, this was a challenge, we couldn't solve it. I'm like, let me marinate on it. And then the next day I come in and I'm like, okay, so I was working out and all of a sudden I had, it's that kind of energy. So it's all about truth, space, and meaning and movement. You'll feel inspired to take all of these scattered emotional sparks of the day and turn them into gold. This is when you have the Midas touch. And with Pluto being sextile with the Sagittarius moon, there's a deep emotional insight about how you care for yourself or how you serve others that's going to be emerging from this. That's from this opportunity. And it's allowing you to truly step into a place of leadership. So, with Mars squaring Chiron too at the same time, your leadership has got to do with a difficult choice. We'll get into it, but it's balancing, I'm just saying. With Chiron, though, before we get there, and Mars, it's pushing you to channel any vulnerability of your desires and any trembles in your courage into purposeful action or meaningful communication. And this is where your authority is going to step up to the plate, especially in a new beginning. And it's leading with your emotions to balance the scales. I mean, look at this, standing in your truth, especially turning pain to passions, wounds to wisdom, to balance the scales and bring things back into harmony through action and initiation with those Libra energies, the Scorpionic energy, the Sagittarius energy, the moon, and also Aries. So, with Chiron and Mars here playing a role in all of this, any fears that have surfaced become focused energy, deciding to move. They're empowering you, telling you that you are both the artist and the alchemist of your story and your timeline, and that's where your leadership truly comes into play. This is where you're coming through with really letting your ambition shine. With that Capricorn energy, letting your self-discipline, your reason truly guide you, especially when it has to do with keeping your boundaries, keeping things in balance, providing a foundation of balance, contentment, and being an authoritarian in a leadership role, being inspiration and action. And again, like I say, it's got to do with between where you're torn between a difficult choice, right? Where you've been remaining stagnant, where there's movement opening the door, where there's been confusion causing stalemates, and where you're allowing your intuition to guide you into an open door of a new beginning that balances the scales and allows you to truly look at that pain, which you thought was weakness, and realize just how much wisdom that you not only gained from it, but the wisdom has now taught you how to problem solve through this, utilizing your intuition and embracing a duality within yourself, within the choices, within your relationships, your partnerships, and your decisions. This is where this new opportunity is reminding you, teaching you that you are not only in a point of creation with your new beginning, with your truth, but also you're the alchemist with transmuting this energy, right? Problem solving it with your creativity, letting your spirituality lead the way. Also, too, having it be, as I like to put it with the Ace of Cups, it's like you got a lemon tree and there's a surplus of lemons. You're not only making lemonade, you're making, lemonade popsicles or lemon popsicles. You're making lemon meringue pie. You're making lemon lavender cookies. I don't know what else, but you're looking at all of that surplus and you're turning it into profit in a very fruitful way, in a very abundant way. And it's the beginning of an open door that leads to prosperity, not only with an opportunity, with fortune, with love, with joy, with health, but in relationships. And it's love leadership that's going to be opening this door and making sure that it's love that stays for your story and your timeline. It's that kind of thought of like you're pouring your heart into it. And after all the excitement on Tuesday, Wednesday is going to feel like a day of recalibration. So after I tell you you're pouring your heart all into it, Wednesday is going to feel like this recalibration where the mind pulls against the heart. So after the heart is leading the way, the mind's going to kind of pull you back and say, okay, hold on a moment. Let's make sure we're truly recalibrated. Let's bring things back into balance so it flows smoothly in that transmutation. So Mercury, our ruling planet, the planet of the mind, messages, downloads, is going to be opposite Jupiter retrograde. So remember, Jupiter's in Cancer in our 11th house of hopes, wishes, and dreams. He's looking back at the past. He's wanting you to see those shared dreams, those inspirations, and reinstill that, reinvigorate that into your life. And with this opposition, it's going to feel like a bit of a tug of war between intimate and the collective. So your thoughts want expansion. Your emotions want safety. Mercury in your 5th house asks, what do I want to create? What delights me? What deserves my focus and attention? And Jupiter retrograde in your 11th house counters, but what about the people? What about the future? What about the dream that you once had that included more than just you, that was bigger than you? And how do we marry both, anchor both into your foundation? It's creating a tension between what you know and what you feel. You're being pulled between refining your creative voice and honoring your role in a larger vision. It's not comfortable, but let me tell you, it is deeply fertile. This is where your analysis, your natural grounding Virgo energy comes into play, and particularly when it comes to your leadership. Leading with truth, looking at things with your ethics, looking at things with being a man or woman of action, honor, professionality, and standing in justice, claiming your justice. So you may have a creative idea that gets questioned by group expectations. This beautiful blow up moment on Tuesday, you may have someone coming in as a little bit of like a negative Nancy, or it's going to feel like that. But the thing about this is it has to do with really rooting against conflict and issues, how you problem solve, how you take action, how you lead with balance, right? So there may be something even to this where you have a desire to play or create that collides with a responsibility that you have with a friend, a social engagement, or even a long-term goal. Or even you may see old hopes resurfacing that are asking, do you still believe in me? And they're questioning it, right? This is where you're looking at the table and you're coming to all of it, looking at your ambitions and really being truthful about it, right? Really being honest about where you're adapting and where you're acquiring and needing that comfort. So this is Taurian energy and this is Geminian energy. But it has a lot to do with where you take action, where you devote your energy, where you make sure that you're building a foundation that's truly indomitable in your creativity. And in all of this, there is a hidden gem within this push-pull, within this tension. So with oppositions, they do not block. It's important to always remember with oppositions, though it's like it sounds negative, really they don't block, they mirror. It's your inner world being reflected in your outer world. And this one in particular is asking, can your creativity serve something larger without losing its integrity? Can your dreams grow without becoming vague or overwhelming? How do you scale things up, right? Can you let joy be both personal and also shared? And the answer to the hidden gift in this opposition is absolutely. But only if you stop trying to perfect it first and truly learn to go to, or to open up to go with the flow, right? This is a day where there's a conversation, a message, a piece of writing, or a creative decision that reveals its true, deeper meaning. And something that you once thought was maybe just for fun turns out to truly be the bridge. So this is the time to truly walk forward into this opposition as if you're looking into the mirror with your eyes wide open. It's a bridge to either to connecting people, connecting to your purpose, or even to your future. And it's showing you that precision doesn't shrink dreams. It gives them form. And your heart is remembering that dreams don't need to be loud to be vast. Create something real. Let it matter. Has a lot to do, like I say, with taking time with where you're feeling overburdened, and change that, like transmute that energy with this push-pull into something bigger that exalts your work, your craft, leads you to mastery, leverages your expertise. Maybe even be, it might even be a new career path. Create something real, let it matter, and then allow it to ripple outward. That's the true alchemic alignment that it's bringing you into. It's looking at tranquility. Has to do a lot with your relationships, either romantic, has to do with who your chosen family is, right? This is taking the time to rest, enjoy success, bring things back into harmony so that your bucket remains full. You're not overburdening, you're not taking on too much weight, but you're leveraging the idea that many hands make light work. Precision doesn't shrink dreams, I'll say it again. It gives them form. And it has a lot to do this whole entire week with where your heart is asking to be felt in your craft, in what you build, knowing that your voice, your creative expression, is truly the medicine. This is where it's leading you into, as this ripples outward, all of your work, where your focus is, where your goals are leading you, where your expertise is truly leveraged. It leads you into a very big day, which is Thursday. So I will say Thursday is by far the most important day of the week. So Thursday, after we have all of this going on, Thursday comes in and Venus, our planet of our heart's desires, is going to be sextile with Saturn at 27 degrees. And at the same time, Venus is also going to be trine with Uranus, our planet of shakeups. So it's got to do with your partnerships, your love, and some breakthroughs. Get ready, because the trine with Uranus at retrograde is at 27 degrees. So is the sextile with Saturn and Venus. So your house of love and joy is meeting up with your higher self wisdom. And they're asking your house of partnerships and commitments to a dance, a graduation dance. 27 degrees is a spiritual graduation degree. It represents wisdom earned through experience, choices made with maturity, and love that no longer seeks validation. So this is a day that love learns your language. The one language that truly says, I show up, I choose you, and I mean this. And if you just got goosebumps like I did, oh, look what was hiding under there. This is where, again, I cannot stress this enough. This is where we'll get into this. This is where you're turning those wounds into wisdom. You're transmuting the energy. Now you know when you reveal yourself, it becomes the medicine. You're not losing anything. Let go of that perfectionism. So With Venus being sextile in your 5th house, we'll first get into this. Okay, so Venus at 27 degrees, before we get into the how they interplay. Venus in your 5th house, in the graduation degree, is truly where she's looking at all of this, and she's saying, I know what I want, and I'm not afraid to want it. I'm not afraid to lose by showing up and showing out. It's love that's been sanded smooth by time and by intention, by what you've learned, what you've earned, what you've mastered, and now you're ready to share it with Saturn playing a role. So with Venus being sextile with Saturn in Pisces, our dreamer energy, our visionary energy, and our 7th house of partnerships, this is like watching two old craftsmen nod at each other from across the room. They're all burly, maybe have some gnarled hands, some really grisly beards. They're nodding to each other across the workshop. No words are spoken and no words are needed between them. They trust each other, they respect each other, and they work together seamlessly and fluidly because they work in sync together, because they've done it so long. They've seen the results that they can produce together. So Saturn in Pisces says, I will hold your feelings without drowning them, and I will fight for them with the Page of Swords. And Venus at the same time in Capricorn replies to that and says, I will love you in all the ways that truly last. This is the moment that you realize that boundaries do not block love, they give it shape. And this is where your assertiveness with those boundaries to really hold those and exalt those ambitions, right? Problem solve with your quick wit, your intellectual nature, right? Your emotional intelligence and your mind in how you voice your expression, your love, your joy, your art, your heart's desires, your dreams, how you innovate to build that into your structure with the Piscean energy, the Aquarius energy, and the Capricorn energy. How you truly problem solve and work through conflicts, issues, through new ideas, taking action, troubleshooting, not being afraid to express your thoughts as you work through them, to truly tap into your unlimited potential, your creative conscious, and tap into that collective conscious with your 7th house of partnerships and commitment. This is where those boundaries are really helping you and give shape to what you're building, what you're pouring your heart into. So you may see a relationship quietly deepening without any drama, any need to announce it, no flashes. It's just basically where people come together in the memories that they've built, and it develops simple pleasures, right? It develops a comfort to truly cherish with gentle compassion. And it's through the trust of knowing that you're being looked after, that they allow you to be vulnerable, and they also allow themselves to be vulnerable with you. It could also be too where you may see a creative passion gain legitimacy, or experience a sense that commitment is not a cage. It's something that's truly holding your joy and hugging your love, bringing things into balance where there's symmetry, there's harmony, there's integration, there's emotional harmony, reciprocity, cherishing your shadows, accepting everything about you, inside and out, right? For everything that you bring to the table, for all the depths that you are and all the light that you are, with Soul's Temple and Scorpio energy, to truly look at how you transmute and let that creative energy flow, right? I'll say it again, I will hold your feelings without drowning them, and I will love you in all the ways that last. This is that moment. And with Venus being trine with Uranus, Uranus is that planet, I love it to death, but I'm just saying. With Venus being trine with Uranus retrograde in Taurus, in our 9th house of higher self-wisdom and expansion, both again at 27 degrees, our graduation degree through earned wisdom, earned experience at the same time. It's kind of like the universe is giving you this like cute little cosmic wink, as if it's saying, see, I told you so. You just had to trust and open up. But it's not done in a condescending way. It's done in a loving way. Uranus is bringing liberation through gentle rearrangement. And it's a stable freedom in love and creativity where something just clicks. Especially with the 7 of Swords in reverse, this is like revelations, right? reparations for where deceit from the self or from others truly get caught. Those hands that were throwing rocks and hiding, they were doing it with a spotlight on them with this energy is kind of the thing. And everybody was looking while they were throwing rocks and then trying to hide their hands. And everybody's looking at them. The universe is looking at them with that eyebrow kind of twinged up, you know? And it's like, what, you thought you were going to get away with that? This is where justice comes due, particularly when it has to do about slander, when it has to do about deceit, where you needed to be alert before or guarded before. This is letting your guard down. And more importantly, transmuting that energy, embracing the hidden wisdom that it was meant to teach you, prepare you for, to really realign you for, so that you have stable freedom, stable creativity that just clicks, aligned with the people that truly just click, that are aligned with your spirituality, right? With the hidden wisdom. It's knowing who you are, what you're made for, right? What you're meant to do in your higher calling in this life with that solar plexus energy here. Uranus's situation with this trine with your heart's desires is kind of like discovering a secret passage in a building that you thought you knew by heart, right? That you could walk around in the dark in. And this is like all of a sudden you look behind a painting and you're like, well, I didn't know that there was a secret door there. Where does that go? It's where love now has gravity. What you create now has authority. What you commit to now has longevity. And love, when chosen carefully, right? When chosen carefully, against any temptations, vices, restrictions, addictions, pessimism, distrust, faithlessness, everything that has made you shy away from truly revealing yourself, truly voicing what your heart wants to feel, what you create, with truly shining that, committing to it, showing the world. This is where when love, when chosen carefully, will let you know that it's still capable of surprising you under the insights that Uranus and Venus, don't ask, that Uranus and Venus are delivering together. And this is where it's truly allowing your sacral flow to rise above any type of wounds that used to dim your light, particularly ones where there were swords being put in your back when you weren't looking, where there was rocks that were being thrown when you weren't looking, where there was gossip, where there was exaggeration, false truths being told, where there was exhaustion, fear of failure, deceptions where you're being set up for failure, painful endings that really made you shy away from new beginnings. This is uncovering and freeing you from all of that. So it could be falling for somebody, especially with Venus's heart's desires, things just clicking, especially with Uranus, our shake-up planet, aligning you to your higher self-wisdom. Don't be surprised if you find yourself falling for someone who challenges your worldview, but respects your structured approach in how you hold yourself, particularly how you pick yourself back up. You could have a creative spark that feels fresh and sustainable at the same time, especially in the new beginnings that are kind of coming through this week. This could also be where you may even see a new philosophy, adopt a new philosophy about love, pleasure, or joy, knowing that you're worthy of all of it, that surprises you with how well it fits you, how well it fits your heart, your needs, your desires, and it's going to feel like a glove that was truly tailor-made for you. This is where love has gravity. I will say it again. What you create has authority, and what you commit to has longevity. And as we close out the week, on Friday, the 16th, your inner home also gets a renovation. And it's getting renovated at the same time that the stage lights warm up, waiting for your heart to step out onto stage. So the moon is in Sagittarius in your 4th house, and that's home, family, roots, ancestral ties, cultural ties. And the moon in Sagittarius is going to be squaring with Saturn and Neptune in your 7th house of partnerships, commitment, and in Pisces, our dreamer, visionary, compassionate zodiac sign. So this here is where it's like the moon wanders through the places where you want to go when the world asks too much of you. And you just need that moment to yourself. But Saturn and Neptune are standing across the sky at the same time in your 7th house of partnerships, and they're asking, what are you responsible for in your relationships? What have you been idealizing, avoiding, or quietly dissolving? These squares may feel like emotional static, especially after everything that's gone on this week, but they're stirring up a familiar ache. And it's that ache of, if I'm honest about what I need, will I disappoint someone? They're creating a tension between your private truth and your shared reality. With truly voicing and learning, it's truly opening up that central question of this week. What if your voice is not the risk, but the medicine? And that's where we're ending this week. It's beautiful. So between the freedom of your inner compass and the gravity of your commitments, it's going to feel like this pressure test of water, especially with that Piscean energy, especially with the moon involved with your emotions. And it's a pressure test in your house, this renovation, and it's focusing on your plumbing. And it's here to make sure that all the pipes, all the plumbing in your home that hold your emotions are strong and stable, that all the seals are properly set up, properly sealed, or properly hold, so that they can handle the PSI of any emotional discomfort, so that when the water gets turned on, nothing bursts unexpectedly. And as the moon pivots into Capricorn, away from Saturn, the moon's going to be joining the Sun, Mars, Venus, and Mercury in that Capricorn stellium. And I'll say it again, get ready, because we've got a beautiful, very powerful new moon illuminating on the 18th coming into or over the weekend. So when the moon moves to Capricorn on Friday, joins the Capricorn stellium, it's going to feel like the lights suddenly come on, the music cues, and the show starts. Not only are you going to feel the new moon energy, but you're going to feel this energy, and it's going to help you with regrounding back into your body, re-entering into your purpose, regrounding and anchoring into your purpose, and also re-entering, the room with posture, with presence. And as the wind howls those old feelings of unanswered questions outside, you are truly shaping something solid by hand inside your inner temple. It's focused, it's calm, it's present. It'll feel as if your emotions walk onto a stage where you want something real to pour yourself into. Your joy wants form, your passion wants discipline, it wants devotion, and your voice wants embodiment. And this is where the true medicine and the true magic is truly happening this week. But as your voice steadies, I do want to prepare you. Chiron's not done yet. So Mercury in Capricorn meets with Chiron on Friday at 22 degrees. The master builder degree, no less. And this is a moment when words touch old wounds. Confidence brushes against your vulnerability, and expression truly meets that fear of exposure that's been rearing its head, really wanting you to heal through it, to breathe through it, to flow through it. So you may think during this time, if I say this, will I reveal too much? If I create this, will it show where I'm not healed? This is the moment where that scar learns how to speak. And at 22 degrees is asking you, can you build something meaningful from what once wounded you? And Chiron at 22 degrees remembers that, how to put this? Chiron remembers at 22 degrees every single time that you had to be brave alone, where you weren't supported, that you didn't have people in your corner, right? And Mercury is saying at the same time, I know it's hard, but share your truth anyway. It's the true magic within you. Your wisdom, your insights come to you because you've been wounded, not despite it. Speak from experience, not defense. And this is where those new beginnings, speaking with the Page of Cups, holding your emotions, right? Letting the visionary that Piscean energy flow through your emotions. This is where you truly become the artist and the alchemist. This is where, by speaking from experience, not defense, trusting that your creativity can hold vulnerability, this is where your voice truly lets go of the fear of being the risk and becomes the soul level recalibration that is the true medicine. This is being the dreamer. This is being focused. This is standing in your innocence as well when it comes to your heart, right? Standing in your truth, being vulnerable about shining your truth on that stage, giving yourself permission to shine all your imagination, all your creativity, and truly inspire everybody. Truly trust your intuition, your sensitivity, your empathy, your empathic skills, your psychic abilities to be open and receive the harmony, the balance between your truth and your shadows. This is manifestation, right? Emotions and intuition, inner self balance with your spirit and your desires, balance on the outside with who supports you, who truly listens and hears the medicine that you're speaking, especially as you're tapping into your divine humanity. So this is where things really start to pick up. And like I'll say it again, we've got a new moon coming in right after this on the 18th. And as this week exhales, this is where you become the leader. Rise to your victory. Head in that right direction with your medicine, speaking your medicine, letting your voice hold that presence where breakthroughs are voiced, momentum picks up. This is where, as the week exhales, you may notice that you no longer tense up. Movement starts to replace stagnation. You no longer tense up the way you used to with that fear, right? And it's because you've learned how to give yourself permission. I will say that again. And it's permission to stop holding your breath around your own feelings. It's permission to let your voice land without immediately correcting it. It's also permission to want what you want without apologizing to the past. This is willpower. This is control. This is knowing when to rest, but it's also about embracing that wisdom, having that self-awareness, having your solar plexus finally be unblocked. So this week, the Scorpio Moon came in to teach you emotional precision and to show you that depth is not danger when it's handled with care. The moon joined the Capricorn stellium this week to remind you that expressing vulnerabilities and needs with discipline, when aligned with the heart, is where it truly becomes true devotion. And Chiron this week, for all of his presence and activity, he is busy this week, I'm just saying. This is where Chiron was here every step of the way to show you just how far you've already come, to look back and to truly see just how bright you are when you allow yourself to reach and to shine. So somewhere this week, you may have noticed that the thing that you once avoided saying no longer feels like a threat, that the desire that you once downplayed no longer feels like it's an indulgence. And also, too, you may feel and experience that the vulnerability you once guarded now feels usable. You can transmute it. You can tap into the wisdom, the possibilities that it gifted you with, that it taught you, the strength that it gave you. And it not only feels usable, it feels powerful. And it's what makes you human, not weak, right? It's how it makes you relatable, magnetic, inspiring. This is the week where integration truly becomes intuitive ingenuity and it's regeneration with the lizard. This is where you are not just a survivor, you're a thriver. Your survival skills, no matter what comes in, your ability to adapt and embrace transformation, no matter what comes at you, is unparalleled. This is that quiet turning point where your emotional honesty stops feeling like exposure, where self-expression stops needing permission, and where your creativity stops waiting for that right moment to shine, to show up, and instead it just comes in It taps in the here and now, no matter the circumstance, in your love leadership. Your voice this week, after this week, doesn't disrupt your stability. It refines it. Your feelings don't pull you off course. They inform the path. Let your life respond to you. Speak when it's true. Create when it's alive. Commit when it's steady. Rest when it's earned. And trust that when you're more at home in your body, more at peace in your truth, and more willing to stay present within your joy, you're creating a place for your soul to learn how to become sustainably unshakable, indomitable, with your solar plexus wide open. This is the time to listen to the spirits of light, abandon that darkness, go beyond the ordinary, reach and shine, because that's where you truly become legendary. Now, before we go, I do just want to look at our major arcana here for the music and the color frequencies, but if you like the way I read, if this message resonated with you, by all means, each and every one of you guys, all your views, your likes, your hypes, your subscribes, your comments, all your interactions, love, and support are what help get these messages elevated to reach the ears and the hearts that truly need to hear them. So, by all means, please consider like, share, subscribe, hype. Just know that I am sending you so much love and light because each and every one of you guys make the difference and make this channel a true family. So, music-wise, what we've got, let's take a look. Okay, so what we pulled is D sharp, A, C, E, and B. And then color frequency. And I haven't had a chance to respond yet, but for the wonderful subscriber that asked, color frequency, music like frequency-wise, to amplify the energies, absolutely, yes. If they help with you really truly calling in and aligning with those vibrations, those frequencies, utilize them. I believe your question was to a specific video about like, should I wear the colors on that specific day that this happens? If it helps you amplify that energy and call it into your being, into your aura, into your electromagnetic field, utilize it. Because that's what music, that's what color is here for us to truly connect with, right? So, music-wise, or color-wise, sorry, we've already done the music, but either way, know what I meant, know what I said. Music-wise, frequency, what we pulled is purple, magenta, red, yellow, and orange. And so, guys, truly, I am sending you guys so much love and light this week. I hope you have a beautiful week with turning art and alchemy, your voice, into your medicine. Take care, and I will see you in the next reading.